6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Danishka Madhavela and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. The health authorities are expected to finish the vaccination process without delay. Sri Lanka has identified 23 new positive cases of Delta coronavirus variant. Special operations are being conducted in the Western Province to nab persons who do not wear face masks. Defence Secretary assures KNDU bill will not cause any hindrance to the country's free education. The government has paid its attention on using organic fertilizer produced using urban waste for economic crops such as tea and rubber. State Minister Dilum Amanugama says inter-provincial public transport will resume on 1st of August. News overseas, China imposes sanctions on US officials. In sports, Sri Lanka won the third and final ODI against India by 3 wickets. And those are the headlines. The government is expected to finish the vaccination process without delay. The head of the National Operations Centre for Prevention of COVID-19 Outbreak, Army Commander Shavendra Silva, says and requests the people of the country to get vaccinated visiting the nearest centre. The vaccination drive in the country has accelerated the present situation. The head of the National Operations Centre for Prevention of COVID-19 Outbreak, Army Commander Shavendra Silva, says Sri Lanka has identified 23 new positive cases of Delta coronavirus variant. This brings the total number of infections of the Delta variant of concern found on the island to 61. According to reports, the new cases have been detected in Colombo, Dambulla, Vavuniya, Mullaitivu, Kilinochchi and Negombo areas. More patients have been identified in areas such as Kotte, Kolonnawa, Angoda, Navagamua, Mahabage, Katunayaka, Negombo, Ratmalana, Beruwala, Gaul, Matara, Dambulla, Vavuniya and Mullaitivu. Accordingly, this takes the total of the cases of the Delta variant to 68. Deputy Director General of Health Services Dr. Hemant Heras told media that though total number of cases is at 68, there may be more such cases which are undetected in the community. It should be noted that the first case of the Delta variant was detected in Aramaya Place in Dematagode area on June 21st. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The government has paid its attention on using organic fertilizer produced using urban waste for economic crops such as tea and rubber. State Minister Kanaka Herath has instructed the relevant scientists at tea and rubber research institutes to look into these possibilities. It is expected to use organic fertilizer scientifically proven for tea and rubber plantations. Meanwhile, Chief Prelate of Bellanvilla Rajamahavihara and Chief Sanganayaka of Singapore, Venerable Bellanvilla Dharmaratna Thero, says that everyone should support the organic fertilizer program for the betterment of the country. The Defence Secretary General Kamal Gunaratne asserted that 90% of the General Sir John Kotalawala Defence University's lecturers are civilians, and therefore new act broached for Kotalawala National Defence University will not cause any hindrance to the country's free education. The motive behind the bill is to keep the higher education for brilliant students who are marginally deprived of the facility after advanced level examination, the Defence Secretary said while addressing a media brief held on a Zoom-based video conferencing platform at the Government Information Department recently. The main objective of this to generate a lawful and disciplined generation embedded with leadership qualities in future to serve the motherland, General Gunaratne explained, adding, no admission is entertained for the influential people's children with less qualification as the standards are inflexible. Special operations are being conducted in the Western Province to nab persons who do not wear face masks. Police said that operations have been launched to find persons who violate quarantine regulations during the long weekend. Senior DIG Ajit Rohana says that legal action will be taken against individuals who breach quarantine laws. The Olympic Games opening ceremony began yesterday in Tokyo. More than 11,300 athletes from 207 countries will compete over the next couple of weeks to get their hands on the medal they have worked so far. The Emperor of Japan and about 15 state leaders, including Minister Namal Rajapaksa, are taking part in this ceremony. 9 athletes are representing Sri Lanka at the Olympic Games. Judoka Chamara Dharmawardana, shuttler Niluka Karunaratne, Milka Gihani De Silva, shooter Tehani Egodavella, and swimmer Anika Gafoor have arrived at the athletes' village during the past few days. And that's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
State Minister Dilip Amanaganma says interprovincial public transport will resume on 1st August. He said that the interprovincial public transport will resume with certain limitations. The State Minister said that if the travel ban between provinces is lifted by 1st August, then public transport will be cleared to operate without any limitations. However, he said that if the travel ban remains, then only a limited number of buses and trains will be permitted to operate. The inter-province travel ban was imposed in line with the island-wide travel restrictions that were imposed in May due to the third wave of the coronavirus in Sri Lanka. However, the island-wide travel restriction was lifted in early July, while the inter-provincial travel ban remained unchanged. And that was top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Washlight, the distribution of the compensation to fishing community of Kalamba district, which was affected due to the recent Express Pearl ship fire, commenced yesterday at Morotua. 1,171 fishermen were given compensation under the first phase of this process. Further, 21 fishermen from Korlevelle South Division also received compensation. And that came to you in Washlight. And up next is World News headlines. First, China imposes sanctions on U.S. officials. Jeff Bezos and Sir Richard Branson, not yet astronauts, U.S. says. Angelina Jolie wins appeal to remove judge from Brad Pitt divorce case. And those are the headlines of the World News. China is imposing sanctions on several U.S. individuals and organizations in response to recent U.S. sanctions on Chinese officials in Hong Kong. Those targeted include former U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross. The counter-sanctions come days before U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman is due to visit China. The U.S. sanctions on Chinese officials in Hong Kong were because of their role in the security crackdown in the territory. In a move that pours cold water on the dreams of the few billionaire space explorers, the U.S. has tightened its definition of the word astronaut. New Federal Aviation Administration rules say astronaut hopefuls must be part of the flight crew and make contributions to space flight safety. The means of Jeff Bezos and Sir Richard Branson may not yet be astronauts in the eyes of the U.S. government. These are the first changes since the FAA Wings program began in 2004. To qualify as commercial astronauts, spacegoers must travel 50 miles above the Earth's surface, which both Mr. Bezos and Mr. Branson accomplished. But altitude aside, the agency says would-be astronauts must have also demonstrated activities during flight that were essential to public safety. Angelina Jolie has clinched a victory in a legal battle with Brad Pitt after a judge they hired was disqualified from their divorce case. The actors have been locked in court fight for custody of their children since Jolie filed the divorce in 2016. A private judge, John Auderkirk, made a ruling that granted Pitt joint custody in May this year. And that was World News.
Development News is brought to you by Quality Matters Than Price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, number 1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
The loan repayment period has been extended by another 6 months to those affected in tourism industry due to corona pandemic situation. The hotel traders have obtained about 300 million rupees worth loans, for which the repayment period has been extended till 31st of December this year.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
In sports, Sri Lanka won the third and final ODI between India by 3 wickets. The match was played at R. Premdas Stadium as a day and night encounter. Indian captain Shikhar Dhawan won the toss and elected to bat first. Accordingly, India were bowled out for 225 in 43 overs in a rain-restricted match. The match is reduced to 47-over match due to rain interruption in the middle of the match. Sri Lanka has started batting with the target of 226 in 47 overs and hit the target score in 39 overs, losing 7 wickets. Sri Lanka beat India in Sri Lankan soil after 9 years. And that was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
SLT Mobitel has taken steps to donate PCR machines to several selected hospitals island-wide, aligned to its CSR project, demonstrating its commitment to safeguard communities from COVID-19. The second PCR machine in this project, valued Rupees 5 million, was donated to District General Hospital Matale recently. The first PCR machine was earlier handed over to the base hospital Karavanalla in Kegol district. SLT Mobitel will donate a PCR machine each to the base hospital Monaragala and the Kotalawala Defence University Hospital in due course.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news. Courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
An Australian activewear firm has been fined 2.6 million sterling pounds for claiming its clothing eliminated and stopped the spread of COVID. Lona Jane had advertised that its clothing used a groundbreaking technology called LJ Shield to prevent the transferal of all pathogens. However, in a ruling, a judge said the company's claim was exploitative, predatory and potentially dangerous. Lona Jane said it accepted the court's ruling.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Met Department says the southwest monsoon condition is active further over the country. Showers or thundershowers will occur at times in western, Sabaragamu, central and northwestern provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in western and Sabaragamu provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts. Few showers will occur in north central province.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Before we wind up this news broadcast, let's look at the main points once again. The health authorities are expected to finish the vaccination drive without delay. Sri Lanka has identified 23 new positive cases of Delta coronavirus variant. A special operation is being conducted in the Western Province to nab persons who do not wear face masks. Defence Secretary assures KNDU bill will not cause any hindrance to the country's free education. The government has paid its attention on using organic fertilizer produced using urban-based for economics crops such as tea and rubber. State Minister Dilum Amanigama says inter-provincial public transport will resume on 1st August. And with that, we conclude this morning news broadcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.